Hello, everyone. We want to talk a little bit about 𝗕ጽ𝗿𝗶⁰. One idea in this week's 𝗕ጽ𝗿𝗶⁰ is the parsha where the splitting of the Red Sea occurs. And in that, after the splitting of the Red Sea, Moshe leads the people of Israel in a glorious song. I'd like to look at one verse in that song, one comment of Rashi, the classic commentary on that song, and how it connects the entire parsha from the start till the end. So the very end of the song that was sung after the glorious splitting of the Red Sea and people of Israel being saved, they mention in the end of the song, 𝗕𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗵 b'har nalachatrecha mechon l'shivtecha pa'adcha Adonai mikdash Adonai kunenu yadecha. You shall bring them and plant them on the mount of your heritage, meaning the land of Israel, directed toward your habitation which you made, O Lord, the sanctuary, O Lord, which your hands founded. Right? This nice poetic phrase that we're going to be brought to the sanctuary, O Lord, which your hands founded. Rashi, the commentary, Rashi focuses on the word that your hands founded. If we look at the commentary itself, he says, after bringing an idea about the notes of the cantillation notes, which Rashi was an expert in, he mentions here, the temple is beloved, since whereas the world was created with one hand, as it says, even my hand laid the foundation of the earth in Isaiah, chapter 48, the sanctuary will be built with two hands. So here he says that Isaiah says that God with one hand laid the foundation of the earth, but in our verse, in the song, after the splitting of the sea, it says the sanctuary will be built with two hands. What is the significance of this Rashi? To understand it, let's go to look at the beginning of the parsha. Beginning of the parsha is the people of Israel leaving gloriously. They finally are leaving. Everything looks good. And then it has a verse here that the Lord stiffened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he gave chase to the Israelites. And the Israelites were departing defiantly. Now that's how the JPS translates the words. It says in Hebrew, Yad Ramah. And in fact, the JPS adds a note, literally, with upraised hand or upraised arm. We left Egypt. Everything looked good, but Lord stiffened the heart of Pharaoh. And it says here, or as, or and, or even for. As a result of the Israelites were departing defiantly with upraised arm. What do you mean by upraised arm? Let's take what is that image? You think of upraised arm? Hey, let's see some pictures. Upraised arm here. These are people who, look what I did. Look what I accomplished. Upraised arm is saying, look at me. Maybe the one I'm looking for, but these are all upraised arm of people saying, look at the victory that I did. And that is why we had to have the Egyptians attack us again. To remind ourselves that we didn't leave Egypt out of our own strength, our own arm. It was through the hands of God, and God again had to remind the Jews, remind the people of Israel that as we left, even after we left, especially after we think that our strength, No. We have to remember it's not our hand that did that. At the end of the parsha, we have another reference to arms. We have another reference to arms. And this is in, we have now another battle where Amalek, the desert people, attack us for no other reason, hate, or to sell us back to Egypt to get profit. And this is what the Amalek people do. They care about themselves, and therefore they attacked us for no matter. Later we see in the book of Devarim, they attacked the weak and the weary and the elderly and the people who are the end, who couldn't defend themselves. And therefore, Moshe says to Joshua, pick some men for us and go out and do battle with Amalek. Tomorrow I will station myself on top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. And we see here the word hand is going to come up a few times, where Joshua did as Moshe told him and fought with Amalek, while Moshe, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And then whenever Moshe held up his hand, Israel prevailed. But whenever he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. Moshe lifts his hand not as look at victory, but pointing up. Don't forget who is giving you the strength. Don't forget who is helping us. When Moshe lifted his hand to inspire the people prevailed. When Moshe lifted his hand to say, look upward, look at this, look at the heavens, the people prevailed. But even more than that, the parsha continues that Moshe's hands grew heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it, while Aaron and Hur, one on each side, supported his hands. They lent him a hand in support. They lent him a hand to keep Moshe, who his hands of trying to inspire the people, his hands grew heavy, and Aaron and Hur lent their hands to support Moshe. The parsha continues, and it says that the Joshua overwhelmed the people of Amalek with the sword, and Hashem says to Moshe, inscribe this in a document as a reminder, read it out loud to Joshua. I will utterly blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Amalek is the exact opposite of the Torah. Amalek is people who think about themselves. The Torah is teaching us not as how to think about other people, how to fix the world, how to make the world a better place. And therefore, Amalek, the Torah is coming to take Amalek's memory out under heaven, the place where we want to bring heaven to earth. And Moshe builds an altar and calls it Adonai Nisi, saying, the Lord is my banner. And what does he say then? He says it means this. What do I mean by the Lord is my banner? Hand upon the throne of the Lord. The Lord will be at war with Amalek throughout the ages. What's on the throne of the Lord is a hand. Not the hand, the triumph hand that says, look at me, I did this. It's the helping hand of Aaron and Hur. It's the inspiring hand of Moshe. This is the hand that's on the throne of God. We could go back to our Rashi we started with, that the temple is beloved, since where the world was created with one hand. The world was created saying, the people saying, it's me, I'm in charge. The world was created when creating man who thinks primarily about himself and tries to say how good I am. But the temple will be created with two hands. The temple is created with the helping hand of Moshe raising his hands, but Aaron and Hur helping support Moshe's hands with the two hands. Rashi continues, when will it be built with two hands? At the time when the Lord will reign to all eternity, in the future when the entire ruling power is his. May this time come speedily in our days. May we help bring this time by lending a helping hand to our fellow person. Have a great Shabbat. Na 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 na